side of the stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Do we need a new clip? We're good?
What does a director usually say when it's ready to
Is
go?
he the director or producer?
There we go. It's 104.7 The Cave,
Action.
Dark Side of the Stream, episode 231. This week was my pick, a documentary you can watch on Paramount Plus. It is called Casa, Bonita, Amor, and it tells a story about Matt and Trey from South Park buying Casa Bonita outside of Denver, Colorado, and all that went into that and the whole process of reopening it. Have you ever been to Casa Bonita?
I knew nothing about this.
Did you ever go to Medieval Night?
I've been to that. Yeah, I've been to a couple things.
Have you been to the
that.
Dolly one down the branch of the shit? What's it called?
The one that used to be called something else, but now it's called something else.
Why can't I think of it?
It has a different name now. Now it's Dolly Parton Stampede.
Dolly Parton Stampede. Yeah, it was Dixie Stampede.
Yes,
it was Dixie Stampede. Now it's Dolly Parton.
They got cancel
They got
culture.
great food down there.
Yeah,
It's not an endorsement, by the way.
Very similar to medieval times and all those.
And you get like the full cooked chicken.
All I knew about Casa Bonita was that it was in a South Park episode, and it's like a Denver thing, and then these guys were buying it. I thought, okay, cool, they're buying a Mexican restaurant. Dude, I had no clue how awesome this place is. Now I want to go there.
My mom lived, and they might eventually move back there. They lived in Colorado for, I'd say, 15 years. My brother still lives out there. He has a family out there. He's out in the Springs. They lived all over the place. Denver, Springs, up in Winter Park, all kinds of different places, Divide. But I did go to Casa Bonita a few times. When I was little, I have a lot of family that live in the Denver area, and I have some very old memories of it. But I think I went there when I was an adult, and it was exactly as they described it in the opening
rundown
of the thing. Like, it was like, oh my! And when he walks in there after it was like 2012.
Yeah,
they took a film crew down there to go eat there, and he goes, the smell of bleach and beans.
Yes.
And like, that's not an appetizing smell, but it was not great food.
It looked kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing.
It had just been like, corporations, sometimes they come in, they see a really good idea, they take it, they exploit it, and they wring out every last drop without actually attending to it, and then when it's done and dead, they walk away.
So it was in foreclosure or whatever.
Eventually, yeah, they were like,
closed,
it was getting, well, COVID happened.
Yeah,
COVID happened, and then the company looks at it and says, "We're barely making
cut ties with this thing.
This isn't going to fly." And so they announced that they're going to close it. Well, Matt and Trey, more specifically Trey, really loved this place, and they kind of started talking about what it would be feasible to do it.
Can I buy it?
And Trey again, you can tell in that thing. He says Matt's the money man. Trey's the guy who comes up with the ideas. And at first he's like, this is how we want to do this. We want this to happen. And so they're like, yeah. And then Matt's like, you know what? I mean, it's an investment. We could probably do it. So they buy it
for $3 or $4 million or something.
Well, no, actually, I think initially
it was $3 million when they bought it for, and then they said it's probably going to cost us $6 million to renovate it. So
originally they thought they were in at 10, but that's not what happened. When we come back,
cow.
We'll tell you what exactly happened next. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 231 on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Hey, Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 231, Casa Bonita, Amor on Paramount Plus. So this also could have been called
Business 101.
No. Why it sucks to be a business owner. And or so you want to own a business, so you want to own a restaurant, because I don't even know, because we deal with our job. I mean, we play records and all that stuff, but we also, what we do is we want to partner with local small business owners and help them make them successful, because the true measure of success is if you have guys that will work with you for decades that still come back and they're local business owner because they see the validation in marketing and all that stuff. So we've worked with so many different business owners, every single kind of thing that you could think of, mechanics, solar paneling, strip clubs, head shops, restaurants, literally anything and everything you could think of. We've worked with them, and it always cracks me up when I get someone that has a conversation with me about opening up a business. Like I recently had one with someone, and they did not have, and I wished them all the luck, but I was like trying to kind of gauge how much they understood what it was going to take. And I'm like, first of all, you're not going to get to, it's like basically having a baby. You have to understand that you are not going to sleep for 2 years, 2 to 3 years. That's bare minimum. You're going to spend every waking hour dealing with this thing. Yeah, you're going to spend every single dime that you have dealing with this thing. It's going to be extremely difficult. And that is just like someone opening up just a little bakery shop. We're not talking about a multi-million-dollar, like complex, 50,000 square foot complex here. We're talking about just a little cornerstone thing of how difficult, even if it's like a food truck.
If it was a small restaurant, it would be a big endeavor to take over a small restaurant that's been closed down.
But this thing
is huge. I couldn't believe how massive this was and how many. They got cliff divers and stuff in there. Like, what is going on in this restaurant, man?
They hire a guy who's like their general contractor, who's like then in charge of getting the vent dudes
the logistics
in there,
of making it all happen.
HVAC guys in there, all that stuff.
First thing you have to assess, okay, where are we at? What do we need to do? What do we need to fix? Well, what can we keep?
Before they get into that, they have employees that were like on record saying like, look, I contacted the corporate offices and wanted them to take my name off the wall because of how nasty that place had gotten. So you have it in its 70s in its heyday when it's like really this thing. And then it gets sold in the early 80s and then it just gets turned into what it was. Years and years and years and years and years and years of not just correcting the problems within the building, which is everything from plumbing to HVAC.
Holy cow.
Flooring,
you could not believe how bad
foundation,
this was.
structural issues. I mean, literally, there's one point where they take a picture of a beam that has nothing on it, underneath it. And it's literally just like not if, it's just when. Like when they're standing there, it could have collapsed on top of them. Dude. And you're talking about having like hundreds and hundreds of kids in there on a daily basis.
The more that they look into it, the more the problems go deeper and deeper and deeper.
So now we're talking about we need only investing $10 million to renovate and make all these cool things. It's 30. Literally like $30+ million invested in this.
Yeah, they're like, do we bail out or do we stick with it?
And the smart money thing is we bailed. We lost $10 million and it's over.
But they didn't.
One of the funniest things was whenever they finally, I think he convinced everyone involved that it was something they wanted to keep doing. Trey turns around and he looks at the camera, then he starts walking away and goes, I guess I got to go make some more TV shows.
Yeah. Well, fortunately.
This is so true because that's the only thing that's going to pay for this.
I did a little investigation, okay. What is Trey Parker's net worth? Says he's worth about $700 million. So if you put in the scheme of that, it's a lot of money, but he does have the money to do it. And ultimately, that's what he went and did.
And I also did something, and since they did it, they've had already over 400,000 people through there.
They're making money.
The experience has been great. The reviews are great. I haven't been able to go out there and try it since.
I'm going for sure.
I'm definitely going.
How far from Denver is this place?
It's in Lakeland. It's Denver.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Denver.
All right, good.
It's just a
I'm
suburb.
taking my kid. We're going, dude.
Like you can literally see downtown Denver from it. It's just the suburb outside.
This has been a long break. We better jump to the next break.
It's really good. When we come back, we're going to talk about what they did and how it all worked out. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 231, Casa, Bonita, Amor. So they go through the whole thing. They decide that this place is completely destroyed. I honestly...
The budget was $6 million.
I'm just surprised they just didn't just demolish and build.
Yeah.
But they salvaged what they could. They got an incredibly talented executive chef in local.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. Love her.
She's the real deal. I have eaten at her place in Denver before. It is phenomenal. As a husband of a Mexican woman, I can tell you it is the real deal. And she's phenomenal. So again, on top of what they did to the place, the fact that they brought the food in and changed it without changing anything is what she said. I thought they did a great job.
And you just look at the when they peel off the walls, like the wiring, nothing was up to code. Everything was so bootleg. Dude, where the divers come through, it's just...
When they were looking at that stuff, it was when he called it the death room, where they come out of that pool and there's literally like 100,000 volts of light within feet of you.
I can't believe there was not injuries and accidents left and right there.
Dude, there's so many multi-million-dollar lawsuits just waiting.
I mean, you just look at... I was just amazed that like it was so bad and run down, and to go from there to reopening, like that is such a massive undertaking. Like you said, everything from just like beams in the wall to I don't
even think we really got into this. Just if you don't know what Casa Bonita is, just picture this
amazing place.
It is a 50,000 square foot thing where it's basically like a Mexican village at night. That includes caves, a diving cave and pool,
actors
running around, a gorilla running around, an arcade, and then of course, obviously, a kitchen. You walk in,
puppet show.
You pay an amount. They give you your tray of food. Then you just find wherever you want to sit. You go in the cave and sit.
So you just go wherever you want.
Yeah, you get your food before you sit. It's great. It's great. It's like $40. It's perfect.
Dude.
It's great. Like I said, it's
I can't believe this place exists. It looks so cool.
What I wanted to touch on too in this, and why I really love this documentary, is I would like to say that I'm very, very similar to the way Trey is, in the sense that I will always remember the best version of you, of Tyler, of my wife and my kids, and like things that imprint on me, they stay that way. And so whenever they're going through like the final walkthroughs and all the finishing touches of how Trey kind of envisioned redoing it without messing it up, he in his mind wanted it to feel like it was a Mexican restaurant, trying to convey that it was in the late 1800s, but it was stuck in the 70s. So like it felt like a campy restaurant in the 70s, but it was actually trying to be so I get that.
Yeah,
I think he
didn't want to screw up that vibe.
Well, because in his mind, that's what it is.
That's what it was.
It wasn't the same to me. What I remembered it, and I guarantee you, if you asked anybody that lived in Denver for years and years and years, they'd all have their own picture of what it is. It might be similar, it might not be, but I thought that was really cool. The other thing, which was a heartbreaker, is after all the money they spent, all the time, all the pissed off meetings and the back and forth and everyone going and just you could just see it. If you've ever worked in a restaurant,
got high.
If you've ever worked with a bunch of people, you see it and you know what that's like. Everything that they're going through, all the stuff that they're dealing with, you could see it. After everything that's done, that opening night, Trey's walking around and he's finally getting it. He sees the kids running around, exploring,
it was all worth it.
Checking all that stuff. He realizes that he can't go there.
Yeah.
Because if he goes there, no one's going to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be, can I have an autograph? Can I take a picture? Can I do this?
He'd have to go in like disguise.
But he can't do that. He can't do that because they know who he is. So after $30 million spent,
$40 million. They went over $40 million.
Building the
$40 million
food place of his dreams as a child, something that he wanted to own as a kid. He can't even go there.
How cool do they make it? Because they put almost like a South Park swing on it with the characters. They did the voices for all these characters.
They did, but they didn't. The only thing that's in there about South Park is the Cartman table. Everything else is
that South Park vibe of the comedy of those guys.
But they don't imprint. Like they made it for. They made their own.
It's so
like I
sweet
said,
what they did, dude.
His mind is so brilliant in what he is able to take from here and then make. And those two have proven it time and time again in everything that they've done of how creatively
they're genius
they are. But at the end of the day, it ain't cheap. I mean, that's a labor of love and
big investment.
Yeah.
And when they were thinking of cutting ties, the money man, obviously Matt, he said he made some calls to some restaurant guys and was like, "Look, will we be able to eventually get our
for
money
sure.
back? And
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, they ran the numbers, and he goes, all right, I'm in.
I mean, it's just eventually they
I
will.
think they made their money back probably already, man.
No,
Not
I'd
yet,
say
40
probably
million?
5 to 10.
Well,
when it starts to become
it's
profitable.
money in the bank for
You're
them
talking
and a
about
passion
$40 million.
project, you know?
I mean, if they profit $2 million, that still has to go. I mean, you know what I mean? There's a lot that's involved, and I guarantee you, it's again,
Good
like
thing they
I
have
said,
the money.
you should change the name of this documentary. So you want to be a business owner?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna come back and talk about our reviews next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark side of the stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio one more time. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 231. Casa, Bonita, Amor. I would give this at least a solid 4.5, if not 5 enchiladas. Sopapillas.
5.
5 sopapillas.
5 because...
Which, by the way, you can't get for free anymore. They're starting charging now, which, in this economy, I don't blame them.
I didn't know anything about this place. I could not believe a place like this existed. And then to watch the labor of love, the creativity, the massiveness of the project, and to watch it all work out. My gosh, amazing! I commend you for giving. Thank you for enlightening me with this story.
He knows what it is. It's a bunch of white guys trying to make Mexican food and sell it to you, and that's because the one thing we didn't talk about. One thing we didn't talk about, which we should have, is because you are also well traveled, and I'm married to a chef, and Mexican food is probably some of my favorite food in the world. But it's so regional. Like what is big in Puerto Vallarta is not the same as big in Cancun or Acapulco.
Tex-Mex,
or Guadalajara,
California.
It's just like saying, like, oh, if you're in the U.S., we all love mashed potatoes and gravy and fried chicken and macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, they even went down there.
True.
Went to Mexico to take some pictures and get some ideas.
But that's a regional thing.
Gosh,
so
wow.
What is your favorite? Like, because California Mexican style is its own thing too.
Yeah, I do kind of like the generic Mexican style.
So you're like a Mexican Villa guy.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I love it.
It wouldn't surprise you either way, because his favorite band is Motley Crue. As always, you can listen
true to brand.
Yeah, just like I said. Watch us do this live on Facebook every Thursday at 9 a.m. or YouTube. We play it on my show at 9 a.m., 6 p.m. to our show.
Every other episode, I get to pick a documentary.
Oh, yeah. What are we watching next?
What is going on today? Is this the second time I've saved the show today?
Producers
Second time I've saved the show today. We are going to watch Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary. Just came out on streaming.
Finally able to rent and watch.
We're going to learn the true story of Led Zeppelin.
And see if I can learn something about the band I don't already know.
Yeah, he knows.
That's what I'm going to.
When is it going to be a Becoming Motley Crue documentary?
Yeah, God, dude.
You know they're going to do it.
You're going to have to pay me for that.
You know they're doing it, and you know we're doing it here.
Didn't they do The Dirt?
They're going to do a Becoming. Like they're doing Becoming Pink Floyd, which I will watch for you.
It's going to be 5 minutes long.
They're going to be Becoming Motley Crue.
It's going to be like a
cocaine, chicks, rock songs,
5
death.
minutes.
We're back.
It's like I said when we did The Dirt all those years ago, and I said, here is the biggest knock about that band I could give you. You have a documentary about a band, a musical group that's job it is to make music and make records.
That's the least important thing of the
They literally
That's the
spent
least
3
important
minutes
thing.
in a 2-hour movie
That's the least important
talking
part
about
of the
the music
equation.
they made.
It's image.
That's all I got to say about Motley Crue.
It's
as always,
parties.
it doesn't make it's just noise. That's it. As always, watch us do it live. We watch movies so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.